PW Podcast fans, do we have a treat for you today? It is May 19th, 2021, and we've been waiting for this day for a while. We've been hyping this podcast because it's going to be something special. There's going to be a lot of education, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities to follow some significant trends and leads to provide potentially some wealth for you, some knowledge for you, so you can build some wealth in the crypto space as well as the sports betting space. So we're bringing in somebody that we've been talking to for a hot minute, 360 trader off Twitter. The man has proven himself for many years on social media to be a crypto influencer and to be giving hot trends, tips, and knowledge out to the community. So without further ado, let's bring the man in, Mr. 360 himself. Welcome to the show, my man.
Yes, what's going on, brother? I've been looking forward to this, man. Thanks for the invite. I'm glad to be here, man.
I'm so excited to have you on the show because I know that I'm going to gain knowledge myself. I've been following you for a long time. I personally had some tips that you've given out, and I've made a lot of money myself. So I just want to thank you on the front end for what you're doing for the community. I think it's great.
My pleasure, man. I enjoy every second.
All right. So we're going to talk about the similarities between sports betting and crypto. We're going to talk about, is there similarities between traditional stocks and crypto, bear and bullish markets. We're going to talk about a variety of things today. But first off, let's get, who are you? Where do you come from? And why are you in this space?
Well, I am the 360 trader, of course. But why I'm in the space, I've been in trading and investing for, 35 plus years, a very long time. I have a very diverse and extensive history in financial markets, in many of the financial markets. However, cryptocurrency was an obvious entry for me because the thing about cryptocurrency that sets it apart from literally everything else in the financial field is the fact that the potential for wealth blows anything else out of the water that not only this generation, but any past generation and probably any future generation has ever seen. We're talking about the potential, the opportunity for generational wealth. I mean, it's enormous, and to ignore it is to do so at your own peril, at your own risk. So the space was an obvious go for me, for sure.
I mean, you hit the nail on the head. Obviously, that's the opportunity that I saw, right? I'm a sports bettor, been a sports bettor since I've been 18, but the amount of money that you can make in crypto over a short period of time is just, I mean, if you're not in, you're out, right? And you better get in there. So that's why I feel like this podcast is going to be so influential and so important for a lot of viewers, because this may push them over that hump and say, hey, I need to get in the crypto market. I need to get in the crypto space. So on that topic, traditional stocks versus crypto, is there a significant difference between the two investments, in your opinion?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I mean, one is the future. You have plenty of precedents for this. We have the movie industry, we have music industry, and you see the move of anything that can go digital going digital. And right now we're seeing that on a broad scale in the currency space. We're talking about nations creating their own currencies digitally, banks looking at doing so. So anything that can go digital is going to go digital, and cryptocurrency is definitely helping to usher that era in. So, it's not that stocks don't still have their value, so on and so forth. And I don't really want to get into what the stock market's doing right now, right, and what the Fed's doing and all that kind of stuff. But as far as the crypto space goes, when you look at the value potential, and we just talked about that, the ability to make astronomical type returns. Let's just say you just bought and held. You bought crypto from the beginning, or you're buying crypto from the beginning. You're just going to hold that for 10, 15, 20 years. You're going to endure 80% drops. That's been the average after each cycle. But even after those 80% drops, if you were that diehard holder, never sell guy, you see it on Twitter all the time, I'm never selling, your returns are going to beat the holder, the never sell holder of the stock market. It just are. I mean, that's just the math, and that's just how that works. So yeah, I mean, this is for sure the place where your money should be going, knowing what's going on, knowing what's happening, and knowing the future of currency across the world. I mean, this is where it's at.
So today itself has been monumental. I mean, we couldn't have timed this better in terms of what happened to the market this morning. Absolute huge crash and opportunity this morning. And so let's talk a little bit through that. I'm going to pop a chart in that you shared with the Twitter community this morning and talk us through this chart on kind of what you saw and what spike, we've seen since the drop. So kind of walk us through this and what do you see to share with the Twitter community here? Let me add this to the stream and we'll kind of go from here and pull up the right chart. Hold on real quick. All right, let me get you going. And so what an opportunity today for some people to pop in at some significant lows.
Yes, for sure. So basically, everybody that's been following me knows and understands that you do not trade crypto without watching Bitcoin. I've always been upfront about that. Now, I want to distinguish, and I think it's important that we distinguish between holders and traders. Holders are your investors. Traders are obviously looking for the shorter term gains. They're trying to, you're buying it low, you're selling high, you're selling rallies, you're buying dips. I mean, that's basically how that works. So I do want to make that distinction for those who don't know what a holder is, that have never heard of cryptocurrency. When you say holder in the cryptocurrency world, it's the same thing as saying as a long-term investor. So let's make that distinguishing mark there. So yeah, this chart, I literally posted this chart this morning before we got the drop. And this chart, it perfectly defined the drop. And we can look at that one. And, you can pull that one up here in just a second. But I want to talk about something that happened once we hit that top. I've been following Bitcoin since we topped out above 60K. We got that drop. And there was an area where we got a drop that I called the Great Divide. It's not showing up on this, but it's earlier after we topped out. It was called the Great Divide. And I said, Bitcoin must cross that Great Divide. It must cross that Great Divide in order to put the nail in the coffin for the bears. And if it doesn't do so, there's a problem that we're going to keep dropping. And that's exactly what happened. We crossed the Great Divide, but we never broke that top. We never broke that final resistance, that nail in the coffin. I said, we got to have this. If we don't have this, it's not, the bears aren't done. And we didn't. We touched it. And matter of fact, we tested it 3 times before we plummeted. And then we got that plummet. And the one thing I was looking for on this entire descent was a sign of a reversal. Every time we bounced, volume said it wasn't done. Volume, there was no indications that there was a reversal, that was the bottom, and that Bitcoin was going to sustain a bounce from that point. And I was correct until today. And a lot of times when you get a reversal or a sign that could be the bottom, it's a painful one. It's a hit you right in the gut. You get that nice long candle wick, which you can go ahead. I don't know if you've got that one up. Yeah. So you can see just from my morning chart where I showed you the levels. From the very get-go, I showed you the levels of the drop. I think is a little bit higher.
Okay, tell me when to stop.
Let's see. Keep going up. Before it happened, the very first one I posted, very, very, very first one.
Keep going up.
Yeah, before we got that drop. Okay, maybe it was down further. Sorry. But anyway, before we got that drop this morning, it was the first chart you pulled up where I showed you, on there, I showed you the 41% was where we were at before this drop happened this morning. I showed you the 46% mid-level line, and then I showed you the 53% last stand. We got that wick. We got that lower wick drop right to the 53% last stand line to the T. I'm talking 30K to the T. Now, I didn't expect it to happen all at once, but the fact that it did, that we got that like grand finale sweet drop down there and that huge bounce off. It was literally a $7,000 bounce off of that. That is what I was looking for the potential sign of this could, in fact, be the bottom for this. We had a reset like this in the first cycle.
Right.
We had a 50% reset just like this during the first cycle of Bitcoin back in the many years ago. So, this is something that is familiar to me in regards to a reset. By the way, I believe this to be completely driven by whales. This is a manipulated market drop move by the whales. And nobody probably knows about it, but you have the Wyckoff top distribution type theory out there that you can go read about that talks about this whale manipulation, who control the supply and demand and the points and areas in between. And the idea is to get retail sellers into a frenzy of fear where they're selling to get that drop again so that institutional players can come back in and start to accumulate, which sets up yet another leg higher. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's pretty much what I believe we're seeing here.
That's absolutely makes sense. And BTC, like you said, Bitcoin, it really drives everything, right? I mean, if you're a novice crypto investor, I mean, you should really look at what Bitcoin's doing to kind of tailor your other trades, correct?
Yeah, and it's funny how many people are like, Bitcoin's going to go the way of Kmart and XRP is going to take over. Well, you know what? That's not today. That's not today. A lot of people were watching Bitcoin drop over the last couple of weeks and they're like, it's alt season, baby. It's alt season. And I'm like, then why are alts taking a bloodbath with Bitcoin?
Right.
It's not alt season. Right now, they're still tied together. There hasn't been any indication or separation that shows that there is a flow of money from Bitcoin going into alts. Instead, you can look at all the alts and see 25, 30% drops right there with Bitcoin. So there's been no separation at this point. At this point, there's been no separation.
I got you. So, hey, I just want to show the viewers a little something, which is very, very interesting. I know that you shared with me 360 that you don't specifically bet on sports, but I want to show them a little something that sports betting and crypto go hand in hand. I mean, the chart reads that you're discussing and referring to are very similar to what we do in the sports betting space. There's drops, there's highs. And what you're seeing on this chart is the difference between how much money and how many bets are on a specific side. And we do the same exact thing in read charts and the way the sports books react to where the money and the amount of tickets are to produce positive results. And so we do the same type of education on our side, and I won't get into all the details on my side, but it's very, very similar to what you're talking about. And I see so many similarities between the two. And that's why I love both. Honestly, crypto has become a love for me. I mean, honestly, you've helped me start to love it because one, the information that you provide has provided a lot of solid information for me to go out there and just make good investments as well. So that's fun for me. So, hey, I want to talk about another similarity. The side of sports betting is very emotional. We have people, they lose a bet and they want to chase their money. They want to get their money back. And so they get down this rabbit hole of being in this emotional side, and you're watching the game and it's so emotional and can really grab you in and take you down this, pretty tough path if you're not controlled. How do you feel like that relates to the crypto investing side of things?
Oh man, that is a parallel that's exact. I mean, it's exact. Otherwise, we would not have terms like fear and FOMO or FUD. Fear, uncertainty, and doubt. For those that don't know what FUD means, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And then FOMO is the fear of missing out. I'm sure those words could probably be used to based on what you're saying to sports betting as well. Markets move off of psychology. It's a psychological thing. It moves off of, there's so many people out there talking about fundamentals. And when it comes to the long term, the very long term, yes, fundamentals are important. And I preach those things when it comes to building a whole portfolio. But massive rallies and parabolic moves and mad dashes and big drops, it has nothing to do with the fundamental of the cryptocurrency. And I find it hilarious when I see tweets going, well, the utility is, how can this be dropping 50%? The utility is there and it's being used by Mazda and Ford. And I mean, you get what I'm saying. I'm being sarcastic, but that is to deny the psychology of what moves mad, especially parabolic type massive rallies in markets. These mad dashes don't care about the utility of the crypto when we're in this type of a movement. Over the long term, yeah, some will die out. The ones with fundamentals and utilities, they're going to stay around. Yes, of course. And should the holder pay attention to that? Yeah, but the trader, man, when I do a trade, I don't care what the utility is. I don't care what the crypto does. Like you said, you're looking at the chart. You're using the chart. And you mentioned something else, and it is a problem in this game. A lot of times, if a trader loses a trade, they try to make it up on the next one.
Right.
And that is a folly. That is a very bad psychological decision, because instead of using their strategy and their proper risk reward ratios, they have a tendency to, I just had a big loss. Now I got to have a big win.
Right.
Instead of keeping your big losses small and letting your gains be big, and keeping your losses small. So I see the parallel there, man.
I mean, it's pretty wild, and it's obviously takes control, because it could be pretty detrimental. To your actual financial situation if you're not smart. The crypto market is extremely aggressive. The sports betting happens within 2 to 3 hours, whether if you're just going up or down, and it's obviously a time frame on that. So they're both a lot of similarities between the aggressive approach, but a lot of opportunity is what I see between both. So
exactly.
How about your biggest win? What are you most proud of? The biggest investment or the most proud of investment that you read and you're like, this is the one I'm going to take to my grave and I'm going to be so proud of this one. Is there one that sticks out for you?
There's a couple that I'm known for already, and that is, back in the second cycle, 2016, 2017, I selected Lend, which, as you know, is Aave, AAVE. Back then it was Lend, and it was trading for sub pennies. And then of course Tell. Everybody knows me for Tell. So yeah, but there's been many. Been many. Those are two of the big ones that I located. Telcoin, I located that strictly off of the fact that, hey, these guys were keeping their mouths shut. They were an unknown back in 2016, 2017. They were unknown. And the reason why I was like, these guys, is because they were traveling the world. You know what they were doing? They were filling out all the proper paperwork. They were filling out to be regulatory in compliance with regulations and with the nations and the countries. This is what they were doing before. Everybody else in 2016 in their garages were creating these cryptocurrencies, pounding their chest, throwing it out to the wind before they even had a product, man. No, Telcoin was out there busting their cans, traveling the world, getting crap done. And I was like, not today. Not today. But this bad boy in the future, watch out. And that's why I scooped him up.
And they're doing no marketing, right? Very little marketing, not spending marketing.
That's later. That's later this year.
I know. And it's gonna, what do you estimate Tell to be at by the end of the year? Do you have a number in mind that you're hoping that it's at?
Yeah, so everybody that knows me knows so end of cycle targets, first of all, I just want to put that out there. You take it with a grain of salt. Everybody has their opinions. So you have to take end of cycle lightly. But initially, my end of cycle target, this is way back before it even started moving, was 10 cents. I expected we'd see a 10-cent Telcoin. And, honestly, based on the action that I've seen and based on what's left on their roadmap, we're higher than I predicted they would be at this point, and incredibly so, and deservedly so. But they're starting to get attention, man. They're starting to get attention. I've said it long before this. The world's going to know who Telcoin is. That's starting to become true. So 10 cents, based on, remember, everything depends on Bitcoin. So I base my end of cycle targets on the legs of Bitcoin. So my 10 cent Tell target was based on Bitcoin in this leg. I need to see Bitcoin's next leg. I need to see Bitcoin's next thing to really know for sure, is any more end of cycle targets valid. However, I have thrown a 37 cent end of cycle target out there for Tell. Grain of salt. Right. We got to see another leg of Bitcoin, but we get another leg up of Bitcoin. Tell's going to smack 35 cents based on their flight pattern, based on the fundamentals they got coming out, based on their roadmap for the year. 35 cents on another Bitcoin leg, easy.
And the people need to know, the reason I'm invested in Tel is this man I'm talking to right here. I mean, absolutely giving out that information for free. And so again, I thank you. I picked it up at a half a penny, and now he's talking about potentially 35 cents. That's 70x on my money, which is unheard of, right? I mean, where else are you going to find those types of returns, potential returns, I should say. But I mean, just the crypto market is just unbelievable. It gives me goosebumps right now. So let's give the people something, a little bit of preview on what you see coming down the pipeline. Maybe you haven't talked about, maybe you have, but let's leave them, with something more. What do you see as a potential upcoming investment, solid play for them, maybe to get in now?
So, I mean, Bitcoin is just gift horse, just gift horse the market right now. If you've heard my pinned tweet, that my theory for the timeline for this cycle goes well into September, or excuse me, 2022. For some reason, that number has a hard time coming out of my mouth. September 2022. And that cycle's based on the length of the first cycle, 350 plus days. The length of the second cycle, which was 2016, 2017, being 550 plus days. If we have an extension on this cycle with that math, you've got 750 plus days on this cycle. That's where I get that number from. Anybody that wants that more in detail can go to my Twitter, listen to my pinned tweet. So, based on that math, Bitcoin, in my opinion, is not done. I believe this is a reset. And, those that are new or have not done any investing in cryptocurrency, you just got gift horse it, man. You got a package wrapped, placed in your tree. And right now, across the board, I'm looking at my screen, there are 25%, 30% discounts across the board. What would I be doing right now? Man, I would be scooping up I would stay away from all the risky crap. I would be jumping into the heavy hitters, man. I mean, you got stuff like Uni, DOT, UNI, DOT. You've got SOL. SOL's been a killer. You've got ADA, Cardano, whose roadmap is going to be fantastic. You've got VET. VET has been an absolute destroyer this cycle. You TEL. I mean, do I have to say TEL again? You've got Algo. I can go on. I could literally go on. You've got discounts across the board. I would jump into the giants. I would jump into the strong ones. That's what you do on weakness. You jump into the strong ones. You play the risky ones into the trend. Right now on when you get massive discounts, that's when you buy strength. You got Ethereum trading for goodness, based off of it from where it was at its high, way down low. So you would make those decisions based on how much capital you're working with. Would I buy Ethereum if I only had $1,000? Probably not. Right. I'd be looking at things like Algo, Cardano, VET, Matic. These guys is what I would be looking at. But if you're trading or investing with 50K, 100K, yeah, go nuts.
That's what I
mean, Bitcoin
makes some moves off. I know that right when we get off this, I'll be making some moves as long as the exchanges, are working. So on that topic, before we close out here, how do you prepare for something like this? Because personally, I was on Uphold this morning trying to buy, and it was locking me out. It was just spinning. And so what do you do to prepare for a drop like this? So I guess your money's, ready to make a move.
So that is the dirty armpit of cryptocurrency. Exchanges faulting out on you or going down. That has been the black eye of crypto. And so when you come into the game, you have to be aware of that. What do I mean by that is there's been times when we've had massive rallies and people are trying to get in there to sell, to take profits, and the exchange goes down. I mean, Binance, you name it, it's happened. Yeah. Coinbase. I mean, these are giant exchanges. Right. This should not be happening. They have to me, it's inexcusable. This should have been fixed. It's not. Will it be? I don't know. But this is the black eye of crypto. So the way I get around that, and there's no way to really get around it. It is what it is. You just have to be aware of it. I use every exchange. I have cash or fiat or stable coins across all the exchanges. In the event I want to buy something and exchange goes down, I'm not limited to that. Now, I know not everyone has that type of capital where they can spread that out. So I know that doesn't work for everybody. Not everybody can be that diversified across that many exchanges. It's a black eye. I don't know. I don't know how you just put ice on it. I don't know. I don't know how you get around it, man. It's just dirty. It's dirty.
It is a little dirty.
Yeah.
Well, so as we leave the people, I want you to tell everybody where they can find you and kind of what type of opportunities you have out there for them to get on your team, right? You have this information that you provide, and I think we provide a lot of similarities. I give free picks, you give free information, I give free information. So there's a lot of similarities between our businesses, but I would like you to tell everybody, like, what does the paid side look like? What is the hold? What kind of packages do you have so people can really follow your lead from the inside out?
Awesome. Yeah. So our website is www.boom360trader.com. Boom's my thing, boom, that's what I do. That's right, baby. That's what I'm known for. We got bust today.
I got you.
Is what we got. But yeah, so that's my website. On there, I've tried to apply to give services because we talk about holders, the investors, and we talk about traders. So I've tried to bring something to the table for whether you're a holder, whether you're an investor, or whether you're a trader. I have the Hold Club, which is a yearly membership, and that helps my investors know where we're at in the cycle, what they should be looking for. I give them a little bit of feedback on their whole portfolios. They get to see my whole portfolio. So I have that, and I do a bi-weekly webinar with those guys. Right now, it's probably going to be weekly because of fear, So I'll probably be going weekly with them. But so I have that service, and then for my traders, I have a monthly alert service for trades. I have a pro trade service where I have a Discord for that.
Is this you right here on the screen?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, and then it's www.boom360trader.com.
Oh, 360 Trader, excuse me.
Yeah,
okay.
www.boom360trader.com.
Got you.
So yeah, I have a variety of packages.
There you are.
And then I have a trading course. I even have a trading course. So for those that want to learn, because a lot of people see my charts on Twitter and they're like, what does that mean? What does that line mean? Yeah, there we go. So there's my website right there. What does that chart mean? So I have a course, an actual crypto trading course where you can actually go in and learn. I've done all these videos. It's very easy from beginner to advanced. So you can actually learn how to trade. You can see my trades with my trade alerts, and then I have the whole club for those investors, man. So I try to bring something for the mass for anybody that wants to get into the crypto game. We try to bring something to the table for them.
Yeah, and I think that's super important. You give all this information, but again, these decisions that people are making are going to significantly impact their financials.
Right.
And so what I tell people on my side of the business is, like, you work a 9 to 5. Let the professionals do the professional things. This is what we do all day long. We watch the charts, we do things. So you turn a profit, right? And so we want to profit with you. We're investing on these things ourselves. I bet the games that I advise. I'm sure you're investing in the trades that you're advising. And so we're putting our money where our mouth is, our hearts on the table, and our advice on the table. And I think, again, there's a lot of similarities between our brands when it comes to that. So I personally, I want to tell the people to jump on some of your packages if they can afford it, because at the end of the day, it's an investment that they're going to make.
Yeah, this is an opportunity of generation, man. This is generational wealth we're talking about in the crypto world. At least take a look at it, and it may not fit everybody's risk profile, just like sports betting, right. May not fit everybody's risk profile. But I'll say, if you're into sports betting, there's no way cryptocurrency does not fit your risk profile. And here's the thing I didn't mention. There's a slight difference, because let's say you do a trade on crypto and it goes against you. You can always hold it.
Right.
You can always hold it.
That's true. And that's what I do. We had a dip today. I don't even sweat it.
Yeah.
Because I'm older. I'm not even sweating it, because I'm not doing anything with that. I know long-term gains are where it's at. So,
right.
Anyways, I appreciate you jumping on here. If you want sports betting advice and investments, you can find me on Twitter at ProvenWinners, right on the screen, Instagram at ProvenWinner, and ProvenWinner.net. And my guy here, I appreciate you.
My pleasure.
Think that what you're doing is amazing. And I know that here comes the boom.
Woo! Let's do this again, baby.
I appreciate you, 360, and let's do it again. And let's have a huge day, right?
Love it, brother.
Here comes pop up. So
That's right.
we'll talk soon.
Awesome.
Again, I thank you for this, and we'll do it again.
Love it. Take care, brother.
All right, my man. Bye-bye.